Okay, so we are a little bit running late, but I think we have more, the powerful, important topics later now. And hi, Dr. Riza. Nice to see you. And it's my great honor to introduce you, Dr. Riza Kadilar, who is Global President of EMCC, founder of Key Ventures, the President TUSIAD Netherlands Task Force, and founding chairman of China Institute Turkey. Oh, I'm so interested in this organization. And Dr. Riza is a senior executive with a leadership experience at various international banks in the UK, the Netherlands, France, and Turkey, leading to a large scope of corporate and investment banking background in international markets, which are strong drive to yield results. He is a curator and a designer of Archi Academic, chairman of EXEC Turkey, and investor and a mentor at K Ventures. The Dr. Riza also wrote many famous books, and also he is a faculty member at the European leadership universities and previously a visiting professor at several famous universities in leadership in digital age, finance, mentoring, coaching, strategic HR management, previously lectured in international relations as well. And today, we are privileged to have Dr. Riza to give us a lecture, developing a leadership pipeline with mentoring. So it's your turn, Dr. Riza. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Xie. I am so grateful for this invitation. And as a banker, I had my kind of dual life, I would say, and I worked on always in financial capital development, but also on the human capital development. And what I see now after 30 years in both, they come together. It's obvious. But the question is, how can we adjust ourselves with the requirements of today, rather than running our companies, looking through the back mirror, driving our cars, not looking forward, but looking back. But I say this, most of the management systems of today we use, they are kind of have their origins either back in the Industrial Revolution or in military or in back 90s when this organizational behavior, organizational theory came into force in the corporate lives. But today, many things have changed. Today is no longer the organigram and the boxes that counts, but the relationship, the dotted lines, the lines between those boxes that really makes the company's culture, their capital, and their raison d'etre, why they exist on Earth. So I will go very quickly over, and I know we are running late, so I will keep my part a bit short in order to comply with the timing. I will introduce you an organization that I'm the president currently, European Mentoring and Coaching Council, previously known. Now it's called EMCC Global. And the way we define and we apply mentoring in order to ensure the tacit knowledge management in the companies. Before I do that, let me give you a couple of highlights, so a couple of important points. Nothing is stable. Nothing stays as it is. Everything is changing. And as it has been said, change has never been so fast and never be so slow again in the future. So which means we have to cope with everything changing. When we look at the companies, when they tend to come, the argument that they have a strong company culture, they know what they do, they are strong with cash flow and everything. So we feel that there's a danger there, because having a strong corporate culture means they exclude most of the world. They are inclusive to who they are, but they don't necessarily capture. They are not capable of capturing what's different than themselves. And as the world is changing, it's very difficult to argue that their culture will prevail. And the second thing, when they say they know, how can we know? For example, how many of us have any experience in how to run companies in the pandemics? It happened just 2-3 years ago. Now we survived. But when it happened, we were all have to live in the unknown. So how can we ensure that on one hand, whatever we have in the company, like a tacit knowledge, culture, know-how, and how can we make it adaptable, inclusive, going forward to make it possible that, things could change in the right way. The agility, the resilience, key topics in the companies. So let me just share with you a few slides to highlight what I want to say. I hope my screen is okay. So I need to put it into presentation format. Yep, and it works now. All right, EMCC is a global organization based with headquarters in Belgium, or registered, I should say, in Belgium. We have an existence in over 100 whatever countries in the world, and we exist to develop, to promote, and to set the expectations of the best practice in mentoring, coaching, and supervision globally for the benefit of society. Actually, we're working on this definition, and society kind of enlarged now to environment, to sustainability, to our planet Earth. Because in today's realities, in today's social contract, we all know every single profession should know how to use the coaching skills and how to apply mentoring. So it's not just for coaches and mentors. We are here to serve for all professions in the world. In our strategic plan, we are determined to be the trusted and preferred partners when it comes to human capital development, applying the best practice in coaching, mentoring, and supervision. And all of our offerings are in line with the higher education frameworks, Europe, global. And what we are really promoting is the reflective practice. And we collaborate with other prestigious organizations, including entities like UNESCO, European Union, UN, and everything, but also big companies, multinationals, and everything, and prestigious universities to make it happen. And we are not only, as I said, here for the profession, for the coaches and mentors, but also to make it sure that it's applied in every other companies and in every other sectors in the world. So what do I mean when I say mentoring? So we did a research that lasted for 2 years. We looked into all definitions available of mentoring in the world, and we tried to combine what all they mean all together. So mentoring, in our definition, is a learning relationship involving sharing of skills, knowledge, and expertise between two people, mentor and mentee, could be two groups, through developmental conversation, experience sharing, and role modeling. What is really important here, we're talking about a dialogue. There's no convincing, there's no judging, there's no debating, there's no discussing, there's no negotiating. It's all about understanding or trying or showing the interest and willingness to understand each other. That's why this is a developmental conversation. And it's a dialogue where both mentor and mentee learn, they transform, they change. It's about role modeling, it's about experience sharing, and it goes into the deep skills, knowledge, and expertise sharing between these two people. It's a relationship. And this relationship covers a wide variety of contexts and is an inclusive two-way partnership for mutual learning that values differences. In today's world, I don't know how it goes in China lately, but there's a big conversation about diversity. because diversity is kind of a must in today's machine learning, technology, demographic movements, cultures facing each other, and co-collaborating, co-creation with various different parts of the world, but also with different people living in the same neighborhood, but with different value sets and everything. We learned with the COVID that, we can only find solutions to such big problems with collaboration. And collaboration comes from different people, with different belief systems, with different value systems. So diversity is a must. I mean, everybody is doing this box ticking exercise. Every company, every institution, they look for where they can embrace diversity. But the problem, without the inclusion, diversity is a recipe for disaster, because you force people to come together with different beliefs. And then if they don't believe, they don't feel safe, psychologically safe, if they don't feel belonged, if they don't feel respected, being seen, being heard, then you create a problem. So that's why mentoring is an inclusive relationship that values the differences with respect. And it aims for mutual learning, and it's a two-way partnership. So this is the way we define mentoring. We don't only define mentoring at EMCC, we also have a set of principles, standards, when it comes to a mentoring program. Because every company or every institution, when they would like to use mentoring as defined, in order to create a workforce, community, where people do share their knowledge, their experience, their skills, their contextual wisdom with each other, then you need to define a program. Because it doesn't happen just ad hoc, coincidence, haphazard. It has to be defined and designed for a purpose. So that's why at EMCC, we have these standards. It's an accreditation offering as well. It's a benchmarking standards about this program certification. And it's not prescriptive. So we don't tell people what to do, how to do, or what to include in their offerings and everything. But we do ask them questions. We do ask them, have you talked about this? For example, the clarity of purpose. Why do you have the mentoring program? Then the stakeholders. How do you define stakeholders? It's not just mentors and mentees. We're talking about other people involved. The system thinking, how they have been briefed or not. And then how do you do selection and matching? If you don't select somebody, what do you say to them? When they match, what do you look? Value systems, the functional roles in life. It's not only just one parameter. How many parameters do you bring to have the matching? And then what do you measure? What do you assess? How do you review your program? Because the programs are not just for one run. You repeat your programs. And then the ethical standards. How do you define the relationship? How do you define the frameworks of the relationship in this mentoring program? And then how do you support the administration of the program? So these are some examples of institutions all over the world. Some of them are new technology companies. Some of them are in the education. TÜSİAD is a car industry. Did you see the Air Force from New Zealand? You have this training company for pilots. We have the Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders. Northern Trust is a company. And universities, and Cherry Braille Foundation, an NGO in the development, especially empowering women. But also, for example, ODTÜ, which is a university graduate program. So those entities, they chose ISMCP to benchmark their mentoring programs, and they have received the standards. Being aware of time, I'm not going to continue for the whole presentation, because then I'm talking about the leadership characteristics that's needed in today's environment and how that empowers the tacit knowledge management through mentoring. So I will just go very quickly and finish my presentation in a moment. For example, the leadership paradoxes. I will invite you to look into this. Is a public information you will find information on the website on internet. how paradoxes shaped today's leadership. And then how, this is a McKinsey study, how people are seeing their work environment, what they look for, the sense of belonging, not to fit in, but to belong, how to have caring, trusted teammates, and how that brings to our big questions about we all kind of struggle today in business environment. We ask ourselves to, what's it all about? What's the purpose of all these companies, all these organizations, all this hard work? Why? What is it all about? And then people do ask, do I matter? Am I enough? Will I be able to upskill, reskill myself to be in the game? Am I indispensable? So, and then the last question is about inclusion. Am I in the club? Do they see me? Am I seen? Am I heard in the system? So all those three questions, the core questions in today's business environment, requires a mentoring program, a mentoring approach. So I think I will stop here because then I'm talking about inclusion and how it affects our programs.
Hey, thank you so much.
Maybe I will just finish. I'm sorry, I will just finish with just one more slide if I can manage to do it. Sorry, I couldn't make it. It's a pity.
No worries.
Sometimes.
Take time.
Jack, I will just finish with one slide, and maybe those questions will be useful for our audience. I will just go back to sharing my screen, and I will just go back to this slide and finish it with those questions. Those questions that you see on screen are the core questions that we can ask ourselves about change. Let's do an exercise all together to finish it off, okay? Change brings some difficult feelings. Would you just all cross your arms like me? Just do it, please. And you will notice that one of your hands is on the up, one of them is down, or the other way around. Everybody has a way to put their arms crossed together. Just change it. Just make the other way. This hand goes down, the other one goes up. And tell me, how does it feel? Not nice, isn't it? So every change comes with some resistance. Every change comes with some stress. So how do we make it sure that our companies change? Because we have to change to adapt in today's working environment. Everything do change. And at the same time, how can we deal with this resistance to change in order to continue our existence in this world? And those questions you see on screen are useful questions to tackle this issue. So I will stop here, Jack, and I will be available for any inquiries, questions, and those who listen to me, they can reach me out on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my preferred platform. And I will invite all of you to get in touch more and more with Fisher. Fisher, he is here, to get to know more about EMCC, mentoring, and our offerings, and what we can do for you in your lives, in your corporate lives, and in your societies. And thank you again for this opportunity.
Thank you. Excellent, Dr. Riza. And I think you just give us a lot of the energy and create clarity about mentoring, coaching, the purpose of EMCC. Actually, I noticed the paper you had on as a background. It's a Chinese character, life, with a Chinese right? I saw the claim,
life.
Live boldly and laugh loudly. Play as more as you can. I think this is a wonderful explanation why we need a coach and a mentor to help people become a better version of themselves, right? So this is a great. Thank you so much, Dr. Riza. And I'm looking forward to meeting you in person in China,
I hope
in the near
so.
future.
Next year.
Yes, next year.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, good, everyone. Now we need to take a 5 minutes break. And I also invite you to finish your survey and just use your mobile phone to scan this barcode and finish the survey for this GO-KTM. And then we will have the last speaker today, Mr. Ron Yang. So we will get started at 5:25. So now it's 4 minutes. So just take a nature break and we come back, right?